Hi guys, today we're over on the warm side of the greenhouse and I was going to give you a little bit of care and cultural information on a few Cattleya and Cattleya type orchids. Specifically this splash petal Cattleya and this Lilea anceps. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. So, with Cattleya orchids, they like it a little bit warmer. They're going to be an intermediate to warm orchid. They're going to like daytime temperature, somewhere around 75 to 85 degrees, and a nighttime temperature of about 55 degrees. These are both sun-loving plants, and despite it being wintertime now, when it is summer, these guys get a tremendous amount of light. I throw them outside on sunny days. I leave them in the brightest spot in the greenhouse. And what that's doing is giving them energy to make these wonderful blooms in the wintertime. This one is interesting because it's on a big long stalk, and the plant is actually down here. It's coming from this one right here. So this is what the pseudobulbs look like. They're quite a plump pseudobulb, very hard. This new growth has 2 leaves. All the rest of the growths only actually have 1 leaf on the top. So it got lots of sun and energy last year and was able to produce the second leaf. This must be a 3-foot stalk that it's on. And on the end of this 3-foot stalk is 2 beautiful flowers. They're about the size of my hand, maybe a little bit smaller. There's one over there as well. And this one here, this is called a Cattleya. This was the first one to open this year. It only had 3 blooms on it. This one here is the second one to open. It actually has 11 blooms on it. Wonderful bouquet. There's so many flowers on there you can't focus on an individual flower because they just all overlap each other. And then we have another one over here. These are just buds. So there's 8 buds on this stalk over here and they all started forming last fall after the pseudobulbs had finished growing. This is another pseudobulb that's halfway through growing here. And you can see this coming out. That is going to be the bud. That is called a sheath. And a flower comes out of the sheath. If I can focus in on that there. There we go. So that's the sheath there. Other than warm temperatures and bright light, these guys in the summertime do like copious amounts of water. I water them probably almost every day. The key is by the end of the day they need to be dry though. In the wintertime, I water them probably once to twice a week. And I have prepared some water here in the watering can. The watering can has a orchid fertilizer already in it in the water that I prepared. And the way you water Cattleya types is just by giving a good pour. And what's going to happen is the water is going to drain right through and onto the floor. And that's how we know we're flushing the pots of all kinds of minerals and salts and that. So we don't want to just give them a little splash. We want to give them a good watering. Same with this one here. So we'll pour the water right through and keep pouring until you see it coming out the bottom there. And give it another measure for good luck. And so that is the way I water a Cattleya orchid. Between giving them a good water, they like a coarse bark mix, or at least that's what I use as a coarse bark mix. You can see the roots down in there. In the wild, these would grow on trees and they would actually stick to the trees, so having the bark is going to be sort of the next best thing. And it's very airy in there. It doesn't pack tight. Some of the bark is actually really big pieces. So what else have we missed? We talked about light, we talked about watering, we talked about an orchid mix for them. I'll show you the orchid mix on this one as well. And you can see the roots that are coming out here. Nice healthy roots. When they're not thirsty, they're green, and when they're thirsty, they're white. And you can see the big pieces of bark. I mixed a little bit of sphagnum moss in there just to retain a little bit more moisture for the roots. But again, a very airy mix. No water gets trapped in there. It falls or pours out as fast as it pours in. Temperature for this guy, it's a little bit has a little bit wider spread of temperature. I mean, ideal conditions are just like for the Cattleya, being it is in the Cattleya family. But you can give this guy temperatures upwards of 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the summertime, and temperatures down into the mid to low 40s in the wintertime. Although this is what they say you can do, it is not what I practice. But I do have them out in the summertime, but once the lows start getting down into the low 50s, high 40s, I do try to bring them in at night. Before I let you go, I just wanted to show you one other Lilea anceps, the same one as we just seen. This is just going to be a little bit smaller one. The bulbs aren't quite as big, and it has two shoots that come up. I just wanted to show you what the buds look like on these guys. So that is what a bud will look like just before it blooms on this long stalk here. Cattleyas don't get this long stalk. The flower is held much closer to the plant, but the Lilea anceps has this great long stalk. And I believe in the wild, when these are growing in a tree, this long stalk that they have is to actually push the flower out beyond the leaves of the tree so that it can be pollinated easier by whatever pollinates these guys, bees or flies. Yeah, so that is how you take care of a Cattleya, or how I take care of my Cattleya and my Lilea. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Another good thing about the Cattleya splash petal here is it smells like roses. The whole greenhouse right now smells like a rose garden.